You're listening to Heroes in the Moment.
What's up, heroes? I'm Michael.
And I'm Nathan.
And today we're doing our weekly recap number 52.
52, baby.
52. But to start off, we have some unfortunate news that came last week. And this actually came out of shock. I was not expecting this at all. But it's very sad news. And that being the passing of Sir Michael Gambon. Incredible. We loved him as Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Legend in that role. Obviously, the original Dumbledore passed. And then he took it over. And he did a really great job in doing so. We'll miss one's held high for him for sure. Any words about Michael Gambon?
Prayers to his family, man.
Absolutely.
I know that's tough, but
Absolutely.
he was a legend.
He was. A brief moment of silence for him. All right, we're back into it. So we got some news today. We've been out for a while. I know it's been crazy. You know, Nathan's been in Italy.
I've been just traveling the world, baby.
Traveling the world. I've been
Pizza.
sick, and then I've been we'll see how it goes. So first off, is the writer's strike?
Yeah, we got to talk about that first.
Is now
We gotta talk about that.
apparently over.
It's over.
What do you think?
Dude, first of all,
I'm
shout
excited.
Shout out the writers. Huge,
Yes.
huge W.
Absolutely.
They're on strike for, I think, 146 days.
It was a long time.
146 days, and most importantly, in their new contracts, I think the biggest thing was they got protection against AI, as far as writing goes, and then second of all, the writers will get really good compensation when it comes to streaming versus movies and stuff like that. So anyway, point is they got what they wanted, and they held out. So screw you to the big companies.
Yes, and we've already heard some things. Stranger Things are getting back in their writing room. Several other shows are getting back into their writing room. Marvel's coming back, and Star Wars. All of these other places are coming back into it. I don't know. Is the acting strike over as well, or is it
I
just
don't know
the
about
writers?
the acting. I think it's just the writing.
Just the writers. The acting strike is
possibly.
a little bit. I'm not positive on it yet.
I'm not sure.
It may fall in the same realm. I'm not positive, but it's great news nonetheless to see, writers getting what they deserve, but also the fact that we're going to be projects coming back. But I know it's probably going to be even now, me and you haven't been in the movie theaters in quite a few weeks.
Dude, yeah, it's been a while.
And even then, it's because there's not been much movies.
I know. We should see The Creator.
I do want to see The
Let's
Creator.
see that.
I definitely do want to see The Creator. I think that one looks good. I also want to see Napoleon
when
when that comes out as well.
I saw a report today saying that Ridley Scott wanted to do a 4-hour director's cuts for Apple TV.
Wow.
They're saying
I might get mad because it's probably historically inaccurate. But
maybe. They're saying Phoenix, his performance was so good that they rewrote the entire thing around him because they didn't think he'd be that good.
Wow. Watch him beat Cillian Murphy's actor nomination.
Dude, I'm not kidding when I tell you, I think he actually could.
He could. Well, he already won an Oscar, though. That's the thing.
I know,
but he could win too.
I know, but
that'd be crazy.
2019 and now I don't know. He'll be up there, but he has to be one of the best out.
But it's exciting that it's over. I have to see some movies coming back. I don't know if that will still change Deadpool 3's release date. I hope they still can make the May.
Yeah.
But take their time. I don't want them to rush.
I really don't. They need to hold off news as long as possible.
Oh yes.
Don't say that they're pushing something up and then rush it and leave it.
Let Ryan Reynolds improv again.
Yeah. Now he can. Yeah. Exactly.
He can
improv legally.
Please, but we'll see how it goes. So exciting news that it's over. So with it being over, James Gunn gave us some news, and with that, James Gunn confirmed to us some DCU news that us.
Okay.
First off, number one, Peacemaker season 2 is in the works, in development, and he's beginning to write it.
So it's canon in DCU.
It is confused, and this leaves me confused. I know what he said. He's like, it's okay to be confused right now. All will be explained in the future. But to me, I'm like, how can this be canon?
Yeah.
Right? If it goes in the Suicide Squad.
Because it has Ezra Miller as the Flash and Jason Momoa as Aquaman.
So, and he did say that he is keeping some certain characters, and in that tweet when he's saying he's keeping certain characters, there was a character with a trident in it.
No way. Okay.
So I'm like, okay, is he keeping Jason Momoa? That's probably likely. He also came out and said John Cena is going to stay.
Obviously, that's
Viola
his boy.
Davis is going to stay.
That's his love project. I feel like is Peacemaker. He's just doing whatever he wants.
Absolutely. John Cena is staying. Viola Davis is staying, which we already knew with the Waller series.
Yeah.
And also Zolo Maridinwa, I'm so sorry if I pronounced that, as Blue Beetle is staying as well. But then again, he did say that everything before Creature Commandos and Superman Legacy is not canon. So what does this mean? I'm so confused.
Yeah, what? I don't understand.
I don't know if they're going to breach the timeline, do something crazy, have a whole ordeal.
What does it mean coming before it? Everything that's been
released before. So Blue Beetle,
Commandos coming out first, and
I think Creature Commandos is coming out next year.
Okay,
and Superman Legacy is coming out 2025.
Ooh.
So, but he said everything before it is non-canon. So this is confusing to me. I'm like, what does this mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's weird.
It is weird.
That's so weird.
But he said all will make sense in time. Okay. So I trust
and James Gunn.
He's
trust.
James Gunn. And
James Gunn.
This is the most different look I've ever seen of anything, but at least DC's got a plan now and a future. My only trouble with DC is how does James Gunn going to get those box office numbers up? Right? Because we saw Blue Beetle tanked, Flash tanked, Shazam tanked, Aquaman will tank.
Yeah.
How is he going to mend those?
Well, I feel like, first of all, in part, like, as far as Blue Beetle goes, like, no one asked for that movie. Fair. And I feel like it came out at a terrible time too. Fair. With the other ones, it's their tie, I believe, at least to the DCEU. That's why no one cares. Like the DCEU, kind of sputtered. And towards the end of it, after DCU was announced, people really had no incentive to go see Flash, especially with the controversy of Miller. And then obviously, I think Aquaman 2 is gonna bomb really hard. Obviously,
and that's the thing with Aquaman 2 is it's weird thinking about this movie coming out and the fact that it's DCEU, but it hinders us too because I think it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter.
So what's the point of seeing it?
Yeah, but now we know he's going to be Aquaman in this universe, so it's like,
but we know
should we go see it?
The Aquaman 1 and then Aquaman the Lost Kingdom aren't going to be canon. So what does this mean? It's just really confusing, and he has a lot of explaining to do, old James Gunn.
A lot,
but we'll see what he does.
I mean, that's a tough task. Like you're trying to wrap up a universe and start another with essentially some of the same characters while trying to make it make sense to your mainstream fans.
If I was him, I would have just completely rebooted it. I would have started from scratch, honestly. David Cornsweet, fantastic casting.
Sounds like that's what he's doing with Superman Legacy.
It does. It does sound like he's doing Superman Legacy. But if he's keeping Momoa, where's Cavill? If he's keeping Godot, where's Cavill?
He likes to play favorites, definitely. He has his people.
He does have his people. And that's one thing I feel like that would hinder me is because if he never got to do the Suicide Squad, let's say, and he never got to do Peacemaker, I think it would have been a full reboot. But the fact that he got Peacemaker, he got Suicide Squad. Now, don't get me wrong; those were great.
Yeah.
But the fact that he got those and he loves those, and those are his baby projects, right?
Yeah.
He's going to use those characters again.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to see how he's going to do it in the future. Because if I was him, I would have rebooted it. Yeah. And I'm sure you would have done the same.
Yeah.
But
it makes sense.
I don't know. We'll see how they do it in the
Tough
future.
Move.
But some other news with Superman Legacy, it has been confirmed that by Gunn himself that we will receive some casting news soon about these characters that will be in the movie and will be casted. First off being Jimmy Olsen.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah. Perry White. Awesome.
Okay.
Lex Luthor.
Okay.
Both Martha and Joseph Kent, the parents of Clark Kent, and Jor-El, who is rumored to be played by Kurt Russell. So
really,
it is. Which obviously Kurt Russell's worked with Gunn before in Ego and Guardians 2, so it'd be a really good fitting thing.
We'll be fire if they cast Superman's dad as Bob Odenkirk. It just came to my mind out of the blue. You know what I'm saying?
Like the Kent, like on the
like the Kent. Yeah,
I don't see it.
You don't see it?
I don't see.
I can see like that.
Bob Odenkirk's like hilarious.
Homie. Yeah, but he could be serious if he wanted to.
He could be serious
He's
too.
That
but
good.
The big thing with Clark Kent's father is he dies pretty quickly.
So he would have no future in there.
So I don't know.
It'd just be more.
I like Bob Odenkirk, but I feel like I'd like him to see him in a different role.
See, that would be cool too.
That would be. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe even Perry White. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, he's not Perry White. We need somebody else.
I'm excited for who's gonna be Lex Luthor.
I'm excited for Lex Luthor too. I think it's heavily rumored it was gonna be what's his name, right? What was his name?
I don't know.
Beast from X-Men.
What, him?
Yeah. Remember?
Oh yeah. What's his face?
What's his name?
I know it, but I don't know it
because I can't remember. I'm so sorry.
He was in it's not Nicholas anything, is it?
It is Nicholas
Cage.
Nick Cage is going to be
Cage is going to be Lex Luthor. What is it? What's his name?
Beast and X-Men actor. Let me see. Actor.
Nicholas.
Oh, come on. Nicholas Hoult. That's it. That's it.
I was
so
like
sorry.
Renfield. It's not Renfield. That's a movie he was
That's a movie he was in. Renfield. With Nicolas Cage.
Okay, yeah.
I've heard rumors of him. I think he might do it.
Make him bald.
Yes, he has to be bald.
You had to be bald.
Has to be bald if you
have to be bald.
Absolutely agree. All right. So also with DCU's, not necessarily DCU, but in the greater Elseworlds projects, the Matt Reeves Batman universe.
And Matt Reeves, we really trust.
We trust in Matt Reeves.
Yeah, that's my favorite universe.
The reported main villain for Batman Part 2. We've already got kind of confirmation that Clayface will be in the movie, just not the main
side villain. Kind of like Penguin was in the first one.
Exactly. So with this one, is reported the main villain will be Hush in the Batman Part 2. I agree.
That's awesome.
I mean, as much as I would love to see Mr. Freeze, and maybe they could do him in the future, they did tease Hush very potently in the first Batman, and I think it fits very perfectly with the Matt Reeves universe.
Yeah.
And I think Hush would be a great villain because he's never gotten a live action villain role. I think that would be really cool to see.
Yeah. It makes me really happy to see that they're being consistent and they're following through. Like you said, they tease him in the first movie, so knowing that, you know, assumably he has the same writers with him in that room, like he's taking that same direction, you know that this movie is not going to be like too far off from the first as good as it was.
Right.
It makes me happy. Plus, like you said, we've never seen him in live action.
You never seen
I'm really excited.
I'm excited to pair that with maybe they'll have Hush kill Dick Grayson's parents somehow, some way. That way Dick Grayson can be involved because I know they're going to adapt that in some way. They have to. In my opinion, they got to bring in Dick Grayson in the Batman Part 2. So we'll see what they do. So I'm excited.
I wonder if they're going to take with him, obviously, the more grounded approach, and then with Clayface, maybe like the more, you know, kind of like crazy, fantastical approach.
I think that they'll still go with more realistic approach to Clayface as well.
I still don't see how that's possible.
I know. With Clayface.
Like just a guy walking around with mud on him. It's like,
well, the original Clayface didn't. He was just a mercenary kind of guy. So maybe they'll go that route and we'll see how that works. But I don't know. But I'm excited nonetheless for the Batman Part 2. It's going to be great.
I'm so excited.
All right. Now to switch gears over to the MCU.
Marvel.
We got some MCU news here. First off, being this one, an interesting one, is that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is apparently rumored to lead the Avengers in Secret Wars.
All right.
What do you think?
So listen, I have mixed thoughts about this.
Yeah.
Listen, man. I love Tobey Maguire.
Absolutely.
He's an awesome dude. I love getting to see him in No Way Home. Unfortunately, I feel like these two movies are rushed. I feel like Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars are rushed. I don't know. You take a look at phase, you know, like 1 through 3 or whatever it was, and you see like decades of planning and world building. 22 and 23, the years have sucked for Marvel.
Yeah,
and I feel like desperately they're trying to save it by bringing back everybody for these big movies. Whereas I feel like they'd be a lot better off either recasting characters like Iron Man and Captain America and building towards something like Kang, but instead they're throwing in all these new characters with these older characters. And they're like, by the way, big characters, nostalgia. Like honestly, like I'd be perfectly fine if these movies didn't happen and they just.
Well, I would love to see them. I mean, there's still a while away. You know? I mean, I think Secret Wars is set for 2027, and it could be further now with the strike. I mean, that could have delayed it another year.
It just feels so soon.
It does feel soon. I agree.
Like, Endgame was in 2019, and then
I don't want them to rush. I don't want them to, you know, I want them to take their time with it. Obviously, this would be the next like Avengers movie and like, first one since Endgame.
Just makes you think like after that, where do they go? They brought back nostalgia. They've already killed their best heroes. What do they do now?
Well, soft reboot? They still have a lot of good, and I think they will soft reboot with Fantastic Four and X-Men. I think that will be their motif from now on.
I think they should have done that in 2023 instead of giving us what we got, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I get it, but at the same time, there's still characters that we love, like Doctor Strange. We still got. We still got Spider-Man.
Hulk.
We still got Hulk. We still got Thor. We still got Scarlet Witch. We still have characters we love and we still want stories with. So to see them, and then we'll finally get their conclusion with Secret Wars and the whole multiversal thing, and then we'll have that soft reboot like they've been talking about with the X-Men and Fantastic Four moving forward. And I think that would probably be the best move, is because I do want to see the conclusion of their stories of Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, a lot of these characters, because I love those characters too.
Yeah.
That's one thing that Marvel has yet to do wrong is characters. I mean, they do for the most part, besides like She-Hulk's show, do the characters pretty well. So I would like to see these characters. So they like to see these characters, you know, see where they go and see their story finished as well, like we did with Captain America and Iron Man.
Yeah.
But we'll see with that. But with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man set to lead the Avengers, it's not that he's going to be the lead of the movie. He's just going to be the leader of this multiversal Avengers.
Yeah.
With Hugh Jackman's Wolverine as well, which is going to be his last movie as well. So, I mean, I think it'd be cool, and I think it's a lot of fan service bringing in all these characters back. It's just going to be such a hard movie to accomplish.
Like how? Like, you're talking about taking all of current Marvel, then all of 20, 30 years of past Marvel.
Right,
and like setting up versus Kang, who's like still fighting allegations in real life.
How are we going to do it? It's going to be difficult. I mean, this cast will be the biggest cast of any movie ever. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes and what it does from there. But I mean, they still got a lot of time of writing and planning. I mean, it's still 4 years down the road. So
they could push it off like another 5, to be honest. And
they could
have been fine.
They could. So we'll see what they do. I don't know.
But yeah.
So next up, with that being said about the X-Men, the possible soft reboot, Marvel Studios' X-Men has been officially greenlit in very, very small stages, right?
Okay.
And they are looking for writers, and I'm like, oh, here's the moment.
Yeah,
we'll write that.
Resume,
we will submit a resume. We will write the X-Men for you. And
it'd be a good movie.
It would be a good movie. And you know what I would do? Let's take a moment. Let's think about it. If we were the writers, what would we do for the X-Men movie?
For the X-Men,
I would take it back to basics. I really would. I would take it back. I would do the original X-Men.
Yeah.
Just completely original. That would be Professor X, naturally, Cyclops, not Wolverine, but Beast, Iceman,
Storm,
Angel, not Storm. Storm wasn't original.
She was later, right?
And then Jean Grey coming in as a new student.
Okay.
I would have that team of X-Men, and I would do Wolverine in his own movie, his own thing, and then him coming in X-Men 2.
Well, it makes sense because if you instantly do something with Wolverine, obviously it wouldn't be Hugh Jackman.
No,
it would just be instantly like a ton of comparisons. So
right.
you'd want to let that wait.
So I wouldn't have Wolverine in the first movie. Actually,
yeah.
I would establish the original X-Men like they were in the '60s. That's actually the first X-Men comic right there. I would do it just the original X-Men right off the bat and go from there. I would start with that, and I would start with Magneto. I would have him as a huge threat as well.
That'd be fire.
And just go back to basics. Yeah, is what I would do with that movie.
All new actors, obviously.
All new actors, all new everything.
A good mix of current and then
right. I would cast probably Professor X probably 50s, 60s, and then the other X-Men members 20s. I would cast them pretty young.
Okay.
And then I would go from there. Cyclops is the leader of the X-Men, and just do a classic X-Men story.
Yeah,
is what I would do for the first X-Men movie. I think it would go over well, and I just think the whole idea of just to be in a classic movie. Superhero
would work really well,
especially now, because
following a classic comic storyline.
Yeah, I think that is what it needs, and that's what I would do if I was the writer for this movie. So hire us. Well, we'd be happy to contribute.
that's the pitch.
We'd cast them. We'd do everything. We would be happy to work.
Daniel Radcliffe
as
Wolverine.
I wouldn't cast. Well, not for the first X-Men.
Yeah, obviously not. But as his own movie, I think he'd go crazy.
He could. It
go crazy.
The title of the movie would be just The X-Men.
The X-Men,
The X-Men. I think that's what I would title. Because the first X-Men movie was just called X-Men. So I'd call it The X-Men.
You got to have a The in front of it.
I'd put The X-Men.
Or X-Men. Right. It's about one person.
And then literally the second movie, I'd just call it Giant Size X-Men. That's what I'd do. Because that was the comic that introduced Wolverine and Storm.
No
so
way.
I just call it Giant Size X-Men.
I like the simplicity.
It's just simplistic, going back to the basics of comics. And the second movie, bring in a cool villain that goes with Magneto too or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see with that. But I would go back to simplicity.
I like that idea.
But we'll see. So with that being said, also with the X-Men, several Wolverine variants are set to maybe appear in Deadpool 3 as well. So I'm just excited for Deadpool 3.
That's going to be fire.
I love Deadpool.
Multiple Wolverines running around.
Oh, it's going to be so sick. We'll see how they work with everything. And I mean, you can't kill them all. So how's this fight going to go down?
I've heard rumors of Taron, Egerton, and then Radcliffe. Yeah, the two I keep hearing.
Kind of like a Krasinski kind of set because they were very fan cast.
Krasinski as Wolverine. That'd be fire.
He needs to be Vince Fantastic. Please cast him. Come on, man. Him and Vanessa Kirby would be a great duo. Come on.
They would. Him and Emily Blunt.
That would be a better duo.
That would be better.
But I like Vanessa Kirby, so we'll see with that. All right, so with that, some great news for you. Like John Bernthal is also set to be officially in Deadpool again. So that's obviously very hype.
Just keep it mature and don't dumb it down for kids.
Do not. Kids aren't watching this.
I know they're making Deadpool 3 R. It's like, all right, now that you've established that,
yeah.
Why wouldn't you keep
personally?
Consistent?
I think they should scrap Daredevil Born Again, make it a movie. That's my personal opinion.
I do too.
He deserves it.
Dude, everything they make honestly could be better as a movie.
Oh, for sure.
And he's a big enough character to get one too.
Absolutely a big enough character to get one.
So
please.
That would be awesome.
That would be great.
I love you, Charlie Cox.
Like, they did it with Armor Wars. Who's to say they can't do it with Daredevil?
Armor Wars, bro. Come on now.
Do it.
Come on now. Like,
all right.
Just like they should make Kenobi a movie.
Oh, they should have. All right, so next up with moving on to Star Wars news. This one was rumored and then shut down. It's been scrapped, but it was planned that Guillermo del Toro was going to be doing a Star Wars movie. Now, this movie's since been scrapped, but the original movie was going to be a Jabba the Hutt-centered movie, which makes sense with Guillermo del Toro.
That would be fire.
With those lines of a Jabba the Hutt gangster movie.
Yeah, kind of like his rise to power.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how he took over. I think that would have been awesome.
That'd be kind of sick.
To be honest, I don't think it should have been a movie. Like, I think Star Wars movies are fine as is.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think of the originals and I think of the prequels when I think of Star Wars movies.
Absolutely.
And then you just keep on adding more. They get more and more muddy, and then it becomes a cash grab. But Del Toro is so good that I feel like they should give him a show, and it would have been banger.
I like the idea of what they were doing though way back when with Rogue One and Solo, and just calling them anthology films, and just like having them not be like the main Star Wars films, but anthology.
I like that
being just a growth. Like Rogue One is perfect, Solo was decent, and if they would have done that with Kenobi, I think that would have done really well as well. And
I agree.
had it as an anthology, and then just kind of left it as that. It didn't really need other movies. Like maybe a Vader anthology film would be cool, but we'll see how they do that in the future.
I agree, but man, he would have. Woo! That project would be fire.
Yeah, Vader anthology film with Hayden Christensen. Oh,
that would be nice.
How good would that be?
Nice.
Do it.
Del Toro could do that really well too. I think.
I feel like that's not like weird enough for him. I feel like Jabba the Hutt's weird, but Guillermo del Toro, like I don't think he could do like a Vader film. Like he's too weird for that.
Actually, I think he could.
You think he could?
He's done most of his stuff is really weird. Yeah,
I feel like a Darth Vader film would just need.
He did Pacific Rim. That's not like terribly.
That's
weird.
True.
It's more like mech battles.
Yeah. I don't know, Vader movies. I'm just
that'd be so cool. It has to be It has to be him just killing people, dude.
Yeah,
showcasing his power. We never get enough of that.
I agree.
All right, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, let us know by giving us a review and a download. Our podcast, Heroes in the Moment, is available on all major podcast platforms, so check it out. If you want to stay up to date with our social media, check out our Instagram at Heroes in the Moment.
And we just want to thank you all for listening. And as always, we love you 3000.